Hi, I'm Lori Williams, founder of the Alcohol Ink Art community, and I wanted to share this replay of a live video that we shared on our page last week, just in case you didn't see it. I hope you enjoy the presentation, and for those of you who have not already, please join our community on the website at alcoholink.community. I'll leave a link in the comments so you can find it easily. Enjoy the presentation. Okay, so as I mentioned, we're going to be doing an alcohol ink demonstration on YUPO paper, and we're going to paint a tropical scene just like this. And I have all my supplies here. I'll walk you through what I have available to use. I may or may not use everything depending on how things go. This is a live presentation, so basically anything could happen, and it probably will, as you've already seen with the camera and the technical stuff. So, okay, so we have a piece of YUPO paper here. For those of you who may not be familiar with YUPO, YUPO is a synthetic paper. It's fairly non-porous, and it works great for alcohol inks in that the inks will flow well across the paper. I'm going to be using Ranger alcohol inks today. There are a number of brands available, but Ranger is what I have the most of, so that's what I'm going to be using today. So I'm going to be using Sailboat Blue, and then I have, the next one is Aquamarine, and then I have Sunshine Yellow, Sunset Orange, Mermaid, and Stream, and Honeycomb. So these are just some pictures, these are just some colors that I selected to use for this project. I have a small container here of 91% isopropyl alcohol. I buy it in the containers like this. You can get them at your local drugstore. That's here in the United States. I think in the UK and Australia you buy 99% alcohol to use. I have a few pens here. These are alcohol ink markers. I have a Bic alcohol ink marker, and I have an Artist Loft, which is the Michaels brand. I also have Spectrum Noir markers. I've got some stir straws that sometimes I use to move the inks. I may or may not use those today. I have a pipette. This is a little plastic device that has a little bulb on the end that allows me to capture some of the alcohol, and so that I can use that to disperse the ink across the papers. I have a variety of brushes here to use, and I have a blender pen. And my blender, this is one of the Tim Holtz Adirondack blender pens. I think most of the alcohol ink marker manufacturers now have their own blending pens, but this one I like is because it's refillable, and I just keep putting in my isopropyl alcohol for blending, because the isopropyl alcohol will reactivate the inks. Okay, so before we get started, I want to check and see what kind of comments we have. Jerry Douglas says you're looking forward to seeing this. Thanks, I'm glad you're here. Kathy says she wants to watch the replays since she has a meeting, and that's perfectly fine. You'll be able to replay. You can just fast forward through all that technical jumbo at the beginning. And let's see. Who else is here? Oh, a snow day for Jerry. Ugh, snow day in Minnesota. It's not a snow day here, thank you. So we have thunderstorms in Minnesota and snow in Minnesota? That's strange. Okay. Anyway, so thunder snow, I guess. So I'm going to start out by dropping alcohol ink onto the YUPO. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the inks in vertical lines. So I'm going to show you my reference image here. So I have blue, then I have a yellow, and then an orange, and then I have the teal blues that's going to depict the water when I'm done, and then another color, yellow color, which is the honeycomb, that will depict the sand or the land. And what I do is I drop the inks. I'm going to go ahead and open all my bottles first, and these guys love to turn over, so don't be surprised if we have an ink mess here. I have cozies, thanks to Sharon Harris. If you guys don't know Sharon Harris, she's a fellow alcohol ink artist and one of our contributors in the alcohol ink art community and society. Sharon and myself will also be doing demonstration presentations at our Alcohol Ink Art Conference that's coming up in May. We do have early bird registration for that, so if you wanted to join us for that, we'd love to have you. There's going to be 12 presentations. It's a virtual live conference, so you don't have to actually physically be there to attend. All the presentations are done live online, similar to this, only they're pre-recorded and we broadcast and in real time answer questions. And we have a lot of fun activities, demos, and prizes and things like that go along with it. So if that's something of interest, you should be able to find a link to the conference here on the page. So anyway, I'm going to jump into painting. So I'm going to start off with my sailboat blue, and I'm just going to drop some of this at the top, across the top. And then I'm going to come in with a little bit lighter blue. This is aquamarine. And I'm going to drop it, and then I'm going to come in with my yellow and drop some yellow. And then orange. And then we'll start with the mermaid down here a little ways. For this will be where our water will start. There's mermaid and then stream. And I'm putting it all down at one time, which might seem kind of crazy to some people if you've worked with alcohol ink before. But what I'm then going to do is I'm going to tilt it left to right in a horizontal fashion. Yes, I should be wearing gloves so that I don't get ink all over me. But I'm not going to worry about it too much. So if you can see this, I'm tilting and letting the ink run in a horizontal way. Now I'm going to take my paintbrush and I'm going to help this ink along the areas where it's white, but I'm going to need to clean my brush in between the areas so that I don't contaminate the lighter areas with the darker areas. So this blue here. And what we're going to end up doing is blending each line into the other. Just going back and forth. Again, I clean off my brush in the isopropyl alcohol, and then I tap it off onto the paper towel. And the paper towels get pretty messy, but I usually save those to do other art projects with. So there we go. And then I usually take the end and tap it onto the paper towel to get the excess ink off. Let's see who's with us. Kathy Boyd, she's in Colorado, and Linda Mills from Ottawa Valley. Thanks for joining us, ladies. Okay. And what I'm doing here is just creating a nice little background that I can use. And right now I'm going down and blending, starting with the water, and then the sky. What I typically do is take a dropper of alcohol, and this is a little bit contaminated, but we're going to use it anyway because all we're doing is with YUPO the paper actually stains some. And we want the sky not to be as vibrant. So I am going over this with isopropyl alcohol just so that it's smooth and letting it drain off the edge. I'll keep it more concentrated where I want the water to be. That gives me some ink to lift with. And then I'm going to actually take this and it's still very wet and fluid on fluid, so I can work with it. And even if it wasn't, I can reactivate the inks, which is one of the things I love about alcohol ink. And then I take it and let it drain the other way for a minute as well. And I'm taking the alcohol and the brush and just kind of working this up and down, all in the same direction. Okay. Now, alcohol ink dries very fast, and as the alcohol evaporates. So it's good because you don't have to sit around and wait for paint to dry, which is a very nice feature of alcohol inks. You can create art in minutes or even hours. I'm sorry, minutes or even seconds in some cases, because the alcohol dries so quick. But if you're working with like acrylic or something, you have to wait between layers for things to dry, and that I'm kind of impatient, so that I always come back to my alcohol inks because of that. So I'm going to take a little bit more of the honeycomb here on this end and blend that in. When you mix complementary colors, you can get mud, and so what I'm doing here is using that to get rid of some of the mud. Let's see who's on. Jamie Vosberg and Marion Bale from France. Hi, thanks for joining us. If you're just joining in, we're creating a, oops, I told you those ink bottles would jump over. We're creating a tropical silhouette image with alcohol ink. Okay, so we're starting to look the way I want it to look as far as a background goes. And I like to, let me pull over my weld palette, and I'm going to put a little bit of my stream into one of the bays. Hi, Jennifer from Texas. How are you? And Debbie from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Thanks for joining us. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking some of my stream, and I'm going to add in a very sharp horizon here. And if you look in the palette, as the alcohol evaporates from the ink, it becomes more paint-like, and it sort of beads up around the edges, and you can use it more like a paint than like a fluid ink. And then I'm just going to blend all this together. Put a little alcohol on my brush, and I tap it off on the paper towel, because you don't want to put too much alcohol directly on your painting. And then I'm just going to smooth it across. I have a damp brush. It's damp with alcohol. In this container I have, if you're just joining us, 91% isopropyl alcohol. And I'm just going to smooth some of this out. Erica from Birmingham, Alabama's joined us. Hi, Erica. Marissa's asking what I'm painting on. I'm painting on YUPO paper. YUPO, if you're not familiar with YUPO paper, it's a synthetic paper. It has a plastic-like quality, but it's mostly non-porous, and it works really awesome for alcohol inks. And as I blend in towards the land, I like to have some of the yellow from the land go in sort of into the water, so it just kind of depicts the water being shallow as it's coming towards the land. Kind of happens naturally with the ink. This is a fun subject matter to do, and it's pretty quick and easy too as well. Okay, so now I want to also have some of my sky reflect into my water, and so what I'll do is I'll take my sunset orange and put it in a bay, and also my sunshine yellow. And I'm going to take it and put it, do a few little drops into the water here with my brush. And I'm going to come back again with my stream because I feel like that was too much. I just wanted a hint of it in there. And you know, I'll show you another technique, and that's lifting. One of the things that you can do with alcohol ink once it's dry is you can use a blending pen. Right here I have one of the Adirondack refillable pens, and you could take it and you can lift. See how I'm lifting out the color? Now you can't lift all the way to white, especially not on YUPO. YUPO paper kind of stains a little bit, but what I want to demonstrate here is if I wanted to lift out some of this area to put the color into it, to make it a little bit brighter, I can do that. So just demonstrate that. So now I have this little area that I can put the orange into. But I'm just going to blend that together with my brush. I have a little method I use. I use kind of like a figure 8 motion when I'm painting water to give the look of waves, and I'm kind of doing that here. It works. It depends on the size painting that you're working with, and since it's small, I really should be doing this with a tinier brush, but I'm not going to switch for the purposes of this demo. But it really works great for creating like ripples in the water. Put a little bit more in yellow in here. Blend it in. Okay. Now I think I'm happy with that. Now I'm ready to draw in some of my my sailboat and a tree. And to do that, I'm going to use pens. So I'm going to draw it in with my Bic marker. This is just a regular ultra fine point Bic marker. Bic markers are alcohol ink based, and so it works great with alcohol ink paintings. You can also use Pitt pens, work great. They're a little more permanent. If I use alcohol ink and I make a mistake, I may be able to correct it. But so anyway, so I'm going to start off. I'm going to place my sailboat right in here somewhere. So I'm just going to kind of draw a little triangle thing here. I'll fill this in with a thicker marker. I'm just trying to get my, let's see, make it a little bit bigger. Just trying to get my sailboat in here. And it doesn't have to be perfect. So this will be my mast. And I'm going to come down here like this. Draw it in. And then the other side. There we go. Now I'm going to take my Artist Lost marker, and I'm just going to kind of color it in. So this is a silhouette, so I don't have to put any detail on the boat. It's just going to be black against the background. Sun setting behind the boat. Everything in the front is dark, so we can just use our black alcohol ink markers for this. So that's what I'm doing. So Beverly says, I get the line stage, and now I see I can blend it in. Yeah, so blending is the trick to doing a lot of things with alcohol ink. I do a lot of blending, a lot of times, like if I'm painting stone or something like that, I know what colors I need, and I'll take a marker and actually place those colors down, and then use a blending pen or a blending marker and blend them so that I get the dimples and the dimension of the stone. Okay, there's my sailboat. Now we're ready to do the tree. And I always do this, and because I paint the scene all the time, because it's just so fun and to do. And I invite you guys to all do that too. If you do it, hey, bring it back here to the page and share it with us, or in the community. If you're not a member of the Alcohol Ink Art Community Group, you should join that here on Facebook. We'd love to see you over there. So to draw the tree, I come in at an angle like this, and then it gets bigger as it goes down. So I just come down and color this in like this. Just real simple. And my pen's drying out. Not good. There we are. Sometimes when that happens, I just wipe it off on this rough paper towel, and it comes back. So these trees have these little notches that come up out of them, so I just draw those in. And then when you get to the top, you draw yourself a little circle, and then you can draw the little branches that come out. And then you just come in and just draw little streaks in like this. This is really simple, guys, and fun. There we go. So we're getting close here. Now, what I like to do is make it just a little bit more realistic. I like to put a little bit of, again, this is alcohol ink marker, and I want to make a shadow from the boat in the water a little bit. So I'm just put a few strokes here of the black into the water, and then I'll take my brush back again, dip it into my alcohol, tap off on the paper towel, and then I'm just going to blend it in. And when I blend it in that area, it just kind of looks like the natural shadow in the waves. See how easy that is to do? There we go. I think I'm almost done. I always like to put a little bird in, so I'm going to take my big marker and draw a couple of birds here in the sky. Gives it a little bit of extra. There we go. Let me turn it around so you can see it. So Wanda says, would Posca pens work for the tree and the boat? Absolutely. And they're acrylic based, so you would want to do them on top of anything that you've done alcohol ink. So you wouldn't be able to apply the alcohol ink over the Posca pens afterwards. But I use Posca pens a lot of the times for detail when I'm painting realistic paintings, the white in particular, because with the alcohol ink, it's difficult to lift all the way to white. But if you use a Posca pen, it goes really well on top of the alcohol ink. So a Posca pen is an excellent choice there. Jerry Douglas, it's beautiful. Thank you, Jerry. Let's see. All right, so this concludes the demonstration. Actually, one more thing I wanted to do, just because it's fun to do. I'm going to pretend it's a rainy day, and I'm going to put a little bit of alcohol ink on one of my brushes and just spritz it on top. Let's show you how fun this is. I'll put some raindrops in there. And this will show you how the alcohol ink kind of reacts to the alcohol on top of it. You can get some really neat effects that way. Do you guys see the drops? I might have done a little too much down there, but that's okay. You know what you can always do? Come back and blend some more if you don't like what you've achieved. Beauty of alcohol inks. Once you make a mistake, it's really easy to fix. I can come back more with some more and do it again. All right, thanks everyone. If you haven't already joined the Alcohol Ink Art Community Group on Facebook, go ahead and do that. And check out our conference. It's coming up in May. And if you can attend, we'd love to have you there. We have a ton of fun in our conferences. So these are virtual conferences. Everything's online. And I hope to see you all there. Thanks and have a wonderful day.
Come learn, create, and share with us. It's a life-changing opportunity.